Well, good afternoon, folks, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman here with you with yet another of my 22 rimfire series videos. What I've got on the table here is, believe it or not a Remington, but a Winchester. Now, I briefly featured this little rifle in a video last summer, but I never really gave you a really good look at it. This is a Winchester Model 52. And it's actually a reproduction. It's an exact reproduction of the Winchester Model 52B Sporter version. And as you can see here on the bottom, everything is exactly the same as one of the older Winchesters. It's still a Winchester. It has the Winchester trademark here on the side, as you can see. And over here, it's designated as the Winchester Model 52. Okay? I think it's printed right there. There you can see Model 52. It's exactly like the older Model 52, only in great condition. This one is in absolute wonderful condition. It has a walnut stock. It has the same checkering pattern with the diamonds on the bottom here and all four checkering panels checkered with 22 line per inch checkering. It has a fully adjustable trigger. The bolt is an absolute pleasure to cycle. There's no effort whatsoever in cycling the bolt. Okay, the safety is up here, and I'll be talking about that a little bit in a minute. The gun is extremely well put together, and it's considered by many rimfire enthusiasts and other firearms experts to be the absolute best 22 rimfire ever made. Ever designed and ever made. It's just the way it's built. It's very solidly crafted, and if you look at some of the detail that's gone into this gun, like the sling swivels here, you know, everything is flush and machined even with the stock. These are not just screw-in swivels here. They're mounted and inletted perfectly. Here, the butt plate is made out of steel. The grip cap made out of steel. You know, everything is steel and wood. There's no plastic and no shortcut in the parts in terms of materials or craftsmanship. It's a very finely crafted, heavy receiver. This is an actual receiver, folks, and the barrel is screwed into the receiver just like in a centerfire rifle. The bolt locks up on the rear. It's got two massive locking lugs on the rear here. It has a detachable magazine. It's detachable right here. And by the way, if you own any of the Winchester bolt-action rifles, such as the 69A or the Model 75 or the 52, and you happen to lose your magazines, they're still available through Brownells. Here's one brand new, still in the package. I haven't even opened this package. It's still there. But I bought an extra one just to be absolutely sure I had one in case I needed it. But the one I have here is an original Winchester from the factory magazine. Okay? When I look at this gun, there are some things I really like about it. In fact, I really love about the gun. And there are a few things that I'm not too crazy about. I said it, there it is. There are three things in particular that could be improved. But, you know, it is what it is. First of all, I'm an advocate of cleaning a gun from the breech end, just like I always talk about in my other videos. You want to always clean from the breech end, putting your cleaning rod through from this end instead of feeding them through from the muzzle, okay? And in order to do that, you have to remove this bolt. And the way to remove the bolt, it's a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. Here I've got the bolt open. You want to pull down, pull the trigger, and close the bolt. Okay? let off the trigger, now push forward from the back of the trigger, from the rear of it, hold it forward firmly, then open the bolt and the bolt slides out. Okay? Now, in order to reinstall the bolt, you got to have a screwdriver or something like this right here. And right here inside the receiver, you'll see a piece of metal sticking up. Let's see if I can do this without getting out of focus or without getting out of the camera here. Now push down and squeeze the trigger. Hold it down. Take your bolt and feed it back in there. When the head of the bolt makes contact with the screwdriver, just push it on through and the bolt will close. Not impossible, but they could have made it a little bit more convenient. You know, that's not really a flaw in the design, it just could have been made a little bit better. Especially giving the design and all the thought that was put into this gun, you know, that was given into the design of the gun. Another thing that I don't particularly like is the position of the safety here. Okay, when say I'm out squirrel hunting, okay, and I'm tracking a squirrel through the trees. Okay, the squirrel stops for a second. Instead of being able to flip the safety off here, or very conveniently here, I have to reach up here and reposition my hand. That's not that big of a hindrance, but it could have been improved upon, in my opinion. I mean, it's right there. I have to take my finger away from the trigger to be able to activate it. Rearward is safe, forward is fire. So, just to reiterate, say you're small game hunting like I do here, and there's a squirrel sitting right there on that limb. Okay, he moved. He's going around the back of the tree. He's coming back around the other side. Okay, now there he is still. You have to, and then get on the squirrel. Like I said, it's not that bad. It's just having to reposition your hand and then get back on the trigger to make the shot. Something that you can easily get used to, but to me it's just more convenient if the safety were right there, like on my Remingtons, just flip it off and have my finger on the trigger immediately. Another thing I don't like about it is this gun will not cycle 22 shorts. You can manually load a 22 short in here, but you can't put them in the magazine and feed them in. It just doesn't work. Okay, it says here on the barrel it shoots 22 long or long rifle. That's it, no shorts. So, you know, that's about it. The position of the safety, having to reinstall the bolt with a screwdriver or something like that, and the inability to cycle 22 shorts. Other than that, I absolutely love this little rifle. It's a pretty hefty gun. It's a lot heavier than most 22s. I think this one weighs around 7 pounds or so. This one's wearing a Redfield 4-power scope, as you can see, and it's held on with Burris mounts. I really like these deluxe Burris mounts because they're highly polished blued steel. And these are vintage mounts, folks. These are pretty much period correct for when this gun was made, which I believe was around the mid-1980s. And whoever had this gun really took good care of it. I don't see a scratch on the metal or on the wood anywhere. It's no worn bluing. It's absolutely in wonderful condition. Notice too that the attention to detail from the factory is that all screw slots go in one direction. I don't know if you can see that or not, but instead of being oriented at different angles, they all go in one line, one direction. Even on the rear here that holds the butt plate on. All of them go in the direction in line with the stock. That's attention to detail, folks. That's the kind of craftsmanship you just don't see anymore. And that's one of the reasons these guns were considered some of the best 22s ever built. And you know, the more you handle one and see all the intricate details and you actually get out and shoot it and everything, the more you can appreciate this little firearm. So without further ado, that's enough talking about this gun. If you're fortunate enough to get an original, you know, you're going to have to spend some money because they're super expensive. And even these reproduction ones are pretty pricey, you know. But I was happy enough to get this one. You don't see them very often. I mean, people just don't want to get rid of them. You know, you don't see them for sale very often at all. But I'm a proud owner of one, and I've always wanted one because they are of legendary quality. What I've got here on the table is some ammunition that we're going to try. I've got some CCI standard velocity. I've got some Aguila subsonic. It's standard velocity as well. Let's see, it's listed at 1,025 feet per second. And I've got some of this Ely target ammunition. We're going to be trying that out. And I just thought I'd bring out some of this ammunition from my collection. This is a Winchester Supreme 22 long rifle match. And I don't believe this is being produced anymore. Okay. It's got a picture of Australia there on the side of the box. I've got two boxes of it here. And this is something you don't see very often anymore, you know. I'll open one of the boxes here and show you the ammunition. It's very carefully packaged. As you can see, individually packaged like quality ammunition should be. And there's the bullet. It reminds me a lot of the older T-22 bullet, but the case reminds me of an Ely bullet, and that's probably what they are. They're probably made by Ely. But there's a close look at the box. Winchester Supreme. So we're not going to be shooting this. This is part of my collection. I don't want to use it up. I've only got 2 boxes and I can't get any more of it. But anyway, I've got a target here that I'm going to set up. We're going to try some 5-shot groups at 50 yards. And then I'm going to be shooting some steel targets and maybe even some water-filled cans like I always do. I know y'all really enjoy watching that, so if I have time, I'll go ahead and set up some of those cans and we'll shoot some high-velocity ammunition through it. Now, let me say, the barrel itself has a short chamber, so I really can't shoot any hyper-velocity ammo in it. And there was something that was brought up by a recent viewer in one of my videos that you really can't test different brands of ammo back to back. Ideally, what you should do is clean the rifle, then shoot a few shots, you know, 5 shots or so of that particular brand of ammo that you're testing, and then you can go in and see exactly how accurately that gun is going to shoot that ammo. And then when you switch over, you should clean the gun again, shoot a few shots to lead the barrel in, and then test that ammunition. That's really a fair assessment of how well your rifle will shoot any particular brand. And that's the way you should do it. But for purposes of this video, I just don't have the time to get in and do all that cleaning and everything. So I'm just going to shoot these, and it should shoot well enough to kind of get an idea, but some of them may hit a little lower, a little higher, or maybe off to the left or right a little bit, but you'll get a rough idea of how well the gun shoots. So without further ado, let's do a little shooting here. Okay, first off, I'm going to load 5 rounds of CCI standard velocity. This is pretty much a basic cartridge that I like to do all my testing with. And we're going to shoot at 50 yards. Once again, let me zoom in on that target. And we're going to go from left to right. Okay, here we go. Left target, first shot. This is only a 4-power scope, so I don't have much magnification here. So I'll do the best I can. Looks like that shot felt low. It fell way low. But we'll see how they group. I think those are hitting a little closer. I'm not sure. I can barely see those holes down there. I think that first shot kind of just leaded the barrel, just like I was talking about. They're still hitting a little bit low though. I can see a shadow there at the bottom of the target. Okay, that's 5 shots. Okay, 5 more shots of the CCI standard velocity on the next target over. Now what I'm going to do is shoot 10 shots of these 2 different types of ammo, and then I'll have to redo the target here. I'm going to have to reapply some targets. So let's see where these group. Not sure what's going on here. I think they're hitting low. Okay. Next we're going to try the Ely target. Long rifle ammunition. Standard velocity. Okay, 3rd target from the left. Okay. Next 5-shot group. Okay, last target on the right. Okay. Okay, rifle's open, gun's empty, safe to go down range here. Can't tell you how many yards I've walking back and forth to this 50-yard target, or the 100 yard that I've got down here, but it's been many a yards, let me tell you folks. Okay. Well, that seemed to group pretty well. There you can see the standard velocity CCI fell short. That was the first shot, folks. And then that's 4 shots all in one cluster right there. Same with the second target. First one fell short, and then you got 4 shots right there within 3/8 of an inch or so. And then the first shot, I think, fell right in here somewhere with the Ely target ammunition. And then I had one directly in the bullseye, and all the rest of them clustered there within a 1/4 inch group. So this gun seems to prefer standard velocity Ely. And then the first shot here was actually high. It hit a little bit high, and that may have been my error right there. I may have pulled a little bit. Seems like I pulled up just a tad when I squeezed that trigger. And then all subsequent shots grouped right there within the size of a dime or so, you know. So that's not too bad. I haven't done much testing with this gun, so I don't know exactly which brand of ammunition it really likes. And like I said, this is not really a fair assessment because I'm just mixing up different brands of ammo. We're going to try the Aguila. I'm really curious to see if it'll group as well as these. I mean, if it weren't for these flyers right here, those would be some really impressive groups right there, you know. And I'm sure the gun is well capable of doing that all the time. But anyway, let's try the Aguila and see how well it groups. Okay folks, now I got this Aguila standard velocity or subsonic ammunition loaded up, 5 rounds. And we're going to give it a try here at 50 yards. Zoom in on that target. Here we go. Once again, from left to right. I'm just going to hold dead center on the bullseye to the best of my ability and see where they fall. Looks like that one fell short, or fell low. That one's even lower. Okay, the next group I'm going to hold at the top of the target, top of the orange target, because those are falling really low. We'll see where these group. Might be a little bit better assessment now that they let it in a little bit. Well, I'll tell you, the bolt on this thing is an absolute pleasure. All right, holding at the top of the target. Trigger is very crisp, hardly any backlash or anything. Just a really nice trigger on this rifle. Action is exceptionally smooth to operate. All right. Once again, rifle's unloaded, bolts open. Let's go check our target. Not too bad when you're shooting over here in the shade. I'm in the shade of all these trees, so it's a little bit more pleasant to shoot and to be outdoors. Other than the mosquitoes. Well, looks like we had some vertical stringing there with that group. They all fell rather low. But you know, if they were all together, that would be a really tight group. But for some reason, they all did this vertical stringing. I don't know what's causing that. And then, once again, we got this. I was holding up here, and they were falling low, but we got this vertical stringing going on here with that particular load. That was not really that apparent with some of these other loadings, like this Ely is more consistent, or even the CCI standard velocity, you know, that's fairly consistent right there. I suppose that certain types of ammunition are just more apt to do that in particular guns. So anyway, enough of that testing. Now I'm going to shoot some of these steel targets, and I'm going to set up some water-filled cans. We're going to have a little fun with the Winchester Model 52. Here's a close-up of that Ely target bullet. You can see it's a pretty well constructed bullet. Got the E stamped on the bottom, or on the head actually, the head stamp. But that's a really well made bullet. And I'm going to load up 5 rounds here. And we're going to pop some of those steel targets down there, knock those down first. Okay, we're all loaded up here. I'm going to zoom in on these targets and start shooting. I'm going to shoot that swinging target on the left first. I'm going to shoot that bear right in the head. Okay, I'm going to try and make a headshot on that squirrel to the far right. And we're going to take a headshot at that boar target right there that was right under that squirrel. And I'll shoot the swinging target on the right. Well, folks, I got some of these Winchester hollow point varmint, small game, target, and plinking rounds. These are rated at 1,280 feet per second, so they're pretty fast, you know. They're fast-stepping bullet. And they've got these huge hollow points in the front. They kind of remind me a little bit of a yellow jacket because of that large opening there at the front. So I'm going to load up 5 rounds here. And I've got some soda pop cans down there at 50 yards. I've got them staggered. There you can see them. Most of them are right in front of my steel targets there. And we're going to see how well these blow up. I'm not really sure where they're going to hit, but I think I'm going to hold just a tad low on these cans and see where the shots fall. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to shoot that orange pop can there on top of that board first. Whoa! That was impressive. Okay, and from left to right, there's some of those blue RC cans. Yep. That one there still got some water in it. I'm going to try and knock it off the ground. All right. Well, that was fun. Some impressive results there with those bullets. Well, folks, after shooting those Winchester cartridges, I can say that there's a very distinct smell, an odor that goes along with shooting that Winchester rimfire ammo. And for those of you that shoot Winchester shells, you know exactly and very well what I'm talking about. The Aguila also has a kind of a strange smell. To me, it smells like super glue. But either way, we had a lot of fun shooting this Winchester Model 52 that I so proudly own. You know, it doesn't matter to me really if it's an original or a reproduction. They're absolutely wonderful, great guns. I mean, if you just look at the quality of the steel, the machining, and the wood to metal fit, and just how highly polished all the steel is, you know, it's just a absolutely wonderfully made gun. Nothing about this gun is a shortcut. Okay, everything was done to the top ability of the manufacturer, you know, and it's a lot like a custom gun to me, you know, really, because of the fine checkering and just the way the wood and the metal and everything goes together, the attention to detail. Just look at how high polished that bolt is. I mean, that's pure quality right there. When I bought the gun, I got it at a gun show, and it had kind of a cheap scope on it, so I thought it would be fitting to put a good Redfield scope on there, something of better quality with some really good mounts. You know, what else can I say about the gun? It is an imported rifle made in Japan. Now I've got another gun in my collection. It's a Browning shotgun, 20 gauge. It's also made in Japan. I believe they're made in the same factory as these. What they did is they took the tooling from the original company, moved it to Japan, and the Japanese, just like the folks in Germany, like to reproduce things to exacting detail. So, you know, by all means, this is a very precisely made gun, and it's probably made to tighter tolerances than the original Winchesters, because they just have this affinity for precision in Japan and also in countries like Germany and England. You know, the quality of the firearms and other equipment that comes there, fishing equipment or anything else, is just top notch. You can't get any better. So I'm very proud to own this. And like I say, it does have the Winchester name on it. It is by all rights a Winchester. Here it has the Winchester trademark, just like I showed you at the beginning of the video. So, you know, I can't say any more in terms of being proud to own this gun. I'll be getting it out this fall and doing a little squirrel hunting with it, and bring you along with me. It's more than capable of producing some fine accuracy, so I think we won't have any problems at all in using hollow point ammunition for squirrels, and I'll be using standard velocity at that time. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I always try to add a little bit of fun with any information that I give you, so you know, that's why I do some of the shooting that I do, because I know you folks like to watch these guns being shot as well as actually seeing the guns, you know. So seeing them in action is just the icing on the cake. With that being said, remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, whatever it may be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And until next time, remember, hit that like button, subscribe, and that way you'll know when more videos like this will be coming your way. So until the next video, y'all take care, get out there and enjoy the great outdoors, and if you go shooting, make sure you stay safe. We'll see you next time.